Hi boys, welcome back to the channel YouTube. I'm Navy Dad, this is Rusty Bolt's Garage, and we're back to work on the Chevelle because I've got to get it back on the road as soon as possible so I can scare the crap out of Teslas, making poop electrons like a rabbit. Now, back to the car. Okay, so this has been a crazy summer. Lots going on, vacations, had to fix the Tahoe. I bought a new truck. My dad had open heart surgery and he's doing fantastic. You know, so it's just been a very busy summer. I did manage to get some work done on the Chevelle here and there, and it's kind of sporadic in the way I filmed it, so I'm going to try and fix that and break that up. So what I would have actually been a lot farther along and I would have had all the suspension back on this car, but I ran into a problem that's going to be kind of a big problem, but it's fixable and I already have the fixes over here. I did start filming some of the other things before I realized how bad the situation was. Anyway, so I've got this episode is going to be I ripped out suspension. I didn't really show that because, you know, I mean, everybody knows how to take apart GM front suspension. I mean, it's basically the same since the 50s. I didn't show a whole lot of that. But in this episode, I will be installing the new steering shaft and the Jeep Grand Cherokee power steering box. Because remember, this car is manual everything. So I'm going to convert all that and I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple and it's not really that expensive. So that, also I started working on the rear end. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten this a little bit. I'm just going to do the steering box and some of the suspension and a few things that I threw around in there too. But I started working on the rear end, getting it cleaned up, disassembled, putting new bearings in it, all that sort of stuff. Get it ready to go back in, and then that's when I realized that the problem that I have with the car. So I'm going to try and get a lot of content out this fall because I got a lot of work to do on this car and I need to get it done because I need to get it rolling and driving again so I can get my truck out of storage. My storage unit has more than doubled in price in the last 18 months, so I've got to get the truck out of there. I just can't afford to store it there. It's really expensive. So anyway, we're going to get to it, and yeah, here we go.
Well, hopefully this will be the last time I hear the sounds of this. You hear all that? That's broken suspension pieces. Forget how big this car is. It's a big car. It's a mid-sized car, but it's a big car. Just room to spare. Yeah, the springs on that side are 2 springs broken in half. Fun, huh? Show you what I'm talking about. Look at that. Yeah, right there. That's what happens when you heat up springs to lower the car. Don't freaking do that. Oh my God. I didn't film removing all the front suspension and steering. It's just simple and I needed to get it done quickly. But I'll tell you what, I used PB Blaster and I soaked down everything for 2 days. I didn't break anything. I didn't break a... Sorry. Sounds like we got the Red Baron flying by. But I did not break any bolts. I didn't have to cut anything. I was really surprised, as rusty as this thing is. Yeah, here's kind of a little snippet of doing. Okay, kind of fun, huh? So next up is we're going to start putting all the steering in the car. Everything is brand new, and of course Jeep parts. That's right. That is a Jeep Cherokee XJ steering rod. So it's nice and firm. It does not have the stupid squishy, I forget what they call that damn thing. I'll put it right here, which was completely falling apart on this car. Plus that, it just makes for a squishy steer. And the only reason they did that was to lower down vibration, a little bit. And you know what? This car vibrates a lot, so that doesn't matter. And then, of course, is the mighty 12.7 to 1. And it went, the original slush box was like a 20 to 1, and this is a 12 to 1. And it is a direct bolt-in to the Chevelle. In fact, I'm going to be using the Jeep Cherokee low pressure line. No reason you can't do that, because it's just a hose clamp that goes onto the power steering pump. And then I'm going to use the Chevelle big block hose, and then I'll put the little adapter here. I haven't gotten that yet, but I'll go over that when I actually set up power steering. Okay, so things have changed slightly. Got the upper control arms in, and so these are big ass springs, right? These are stock, non-air conditioning, big block Chevelle springs. And my big ass coil spring compressor that I use to install the big block springs in my truck, that won't fit here. And if you watch that episode, you know that I hate coil springs. They scare the crap out of me. And there's a reason why. And also a reason why I'm not going to use these. When I was a kid, doing my first car, which was a '66 Mustang, and I was doing suspension on it first time. I was 17 years old, and my dad, loved my dad, but he doesn't know anything about cars. So my mentor was my dad's friend, our next door neighbor, and he would kind of give me some pointers and stuff. That's how I learned to do my first brakes and and this kind of stuff. So one of the things he told me is how to do coil spring. I rented from Chief Auto Parts, if y'all remember that, a coil spring compressor. The what we like to call the Widowmaker. It's this. I don't recommend ever renting a tool like that. You need to buy a high quality one, because you don't know what people have done. You don't use an impact wrench on those, because you can break them. So one thing I did do that he told me to do is chain the spring to the frame in case it breaks. It broke. And I mean, it still kind of came out, scared the crap out of me, hit me in the arm, bruised me a little bit, but could have freaking really hurt. It could have done a lot of damage when one of the arms just broke off. So that's why I hate coil springs. Now that heavy duty one I got, that'll do semi-spring, so I'm really not concerned about it, but it won't fit in here. And I'm just not going to use the Widowmaker. I'm just not going to do it. So I ordered coilovers, and I don't have to worry about it. More money than I wanted to spend, but not a whole lot. But they're on back order, not going to be here till next week. So we're going to get back to work on other things. And there has been another change in the way that I'm going to hook up my steering column and my new power steering box. So we'll get that in just a second. Okay, so I had to switch a little bit. What I wanted to do is, of course, use the venerable Jeep Cherokee XJ steering shaft. But I can't. Okay, so my car is a 3 on the tree. It has a round 48 spline connector. So it's not a double D. This is 3/4 inch, so it's not going to work on there. So I bought a Borland collapsible steering column. This is 2 different sizes. So this is 1 inch double D. And then this is 3/4 inch double D. So for the Saginaw steering box, and then this goes, of course, on here, and then you've got your double D 3/4 inch, so it goes in there like that, and then you tighten it down. Okay, now this is 48 spline 1 inch. Okay, you can see all the splines in there, and then of course that is 1 inch double D. Goes like that. So okay, so now we're gonna go get this guy installed. Okay, so here is your steering column. Now, do you see the flat spot right here? Okay, that always goes up. Okay, that tells you that your steering box is straight. Okay, so here is our, this is the side that goes to the steering box itself, okay? And when you install it like this, and then that screw is gonna kind of drop down right here, kind of in this angle. Okay, and so that's going to drop right in here, and that's how you're going to tighten it up. And you know that you're correct. Now, back to the other part. So this is a little difficult to see. I'll take a picture of it. Okay, so see the flat notch right here? That's where the bolt comes through on the OE shaft. And it's going to be turned this way just a little bit. I don't have the steering wheel totally straight so that I can get my bolt in here. So you want to have your top screw right here is going to be on right there. So we've got that on. It is a very tight fit. So you're going to need lots of lubricant. And I know we're talking about double D's and lube and tight fit. We're talking about car parts here, people. Get your mind out of the mud. Anyway, what you're going to want to use is you want to gently tap this with a dead blow hammer. Because it took a little while to get that thing on. But you don't want to go too fast because you don't want to damage the bearings inside the coupler. And you don't want to damage your steering column either. So you got to be really, really careful. In fact, it was pushing the steering column up. So I took a bungee cord and wrapped it around the steering wheel. Just to make sure that the steering column didn't pop out, because it will do that if you're not careful. All right, so now on to the next part. So with the coupler, well, actually the entire thing is 20 inches. So if I'd gotten that 18-inch one, it would have been all the way extended out, which I didn't want. And that really would have been tight. So getting the longer one and cutting it is much better.
See? That sucker's thick.
Okay, so we've got everything kind of mocked up, right? I don't have this all the way pressed on. So what I've done is I took a little black Sharpie and I put a tap right there. And then that's a silver Sharpie and I just put a little dot right there. And everything's lined up. The steering wheel is perfectly straight. So now I'm just going to take that off. And I'm going to put this on permanently. Put this one, well, that one's already cranked down permanently, but I'll put this one on permanently. And then I'll be able to use the sliding portion of this to get them back into place to when I mount this down. So the next thing to do is to actually put this in. We're going to put this back in, and we're going to mark our holes where we're going to drill our set screws for. Okay, so there we go. It's in. So like I said, these rods come in different lengths, and I just kind of guesstimated because I had a lot of room to work with. But you want to be able to have it at least this kind of in the middle for the collapsible column part about it. You're just going to have to measure because your mileage may be different. The columns may be different. So I didn't even bother to show that part. Although, I did show some sparks flying, right? Because that's fun. And now this one I did drill. This is the hollow 1-inch double D, and I did drill all the way through to lock this one in, and then drilled a little divot in the top of this for that one in. Technically, this one was supposed to be drilled all the way through also, but I didn't do that because this is so much smaller, and having a big ass hole through that, it could weaken it. Having that large of a hole in there. I know it's a big old thick piece of steel, but it didn't need that. The one that would and could come apart is this one. So that's why it's much harder. Otherwise, I have two locking. I did drill a little divot in there, and I've got two locking nuts in here. That's not going to come out. Plus, that'll make it easier to work on if I ever have to pull the gearbox off or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, man, it's gonna feel good. I mean, that's gonna be so nice. I mean, I could turn with the old slush box that was in here, which was, a manual box, which I think is 20-to-1. I mean, I could turn that thing 3/4 of the way, and the car wouldn't move. I would just go like this. It's like driving Miss Daisy kind of thing. So this is going to be really, really tight and nice. Big ass sway bars, and Yeah, buddy.
So it's Sunday night, the 24th of September, which means it's wine night and grilling. It's Cowboys night too, but they're probably going to lose anyway. If they did, I'll put it right here because they probably did. So anyway, I know if you're a big Cowboys fan, but yeah, I literally live 5 miles from Cowboys headquarters, so yeah, I get my fill of that. So anyway, look forward to it, and it's the end of September. It's still freaking 101 degrees. It's 7:15. It's crazy. Do I believe in global warming? No. I've been here and I've done this before. Anyway, y'all take care, boys. You be safe, and we'll see you on the next one. I don't have to worry about beer in the refrigerator because I have Chateau Ste. Michelle. It's a Washington one. You should try it.